Hey cultural travelers, nice to meet you. The Chinese culture that we'll be talking about today is paper cutting, 剪纸. You may have done some paper cutting when you were a child. Your parents and teachers may have taught you how to get a small fish or a butterfly with only a piece of paper and a scissor. You may not know that paper cutting originated in China, and Chinese people are very good at paper cutting. You may not know Chinese paper cutting, so I will show you a video now. This video includes the whole process of making a Chinese paper cutting. In fact, paper cutting is a common folk art in China, and it is often seen in people's daily lives. In China, paper cutting is no longer just a craft, but a carrier of Chinese folk culture. Paper cutting is mainly used for decoration and to complement other folklore activities. We don't know the exact year when the art of paper cutting appeared, but we can at least be sure that paper cutting must have appeared after the paper was invented. By the way, China was the first country that invented paper making. However, the techniques of carving and cutting used in paper cutting were already developed before the paper was invented. The earliest paper cuttings found by people are from 386 to 581 AD. By the Tang Dynasty, paper cutting had reached its peak. The British Museum has some paper cuttings from the Tang Dynasty in China. You can see that they were already very elaborate. By the Ming and the Qing dynasties, there were already professional paper cutters, as paper making had become very well established. Paper cutting had become an art as shadow puppetry and could be seen in both the homes of ordinary people and the royal palaces. People stick paper cuttings on windows, cabinets, and doors. Different paper cuttings are also put on different festivals. Now I will introduce several methods of single-color paper cutting. In China, the most common type of paper cutting is single-color paper cutting, and people usually use red paper. Unlike the customs of people in some countries, Chinese people believe that red is a color that carries a lot of positive meaning. The first step in paper cutting is to fold the paper. One of the most basic paper cutting techniques is folding paper to produce a repetitive pattern. It is an expressive technique used in single-color paper cutting. The different effects it produces depend on the number and angle of folding. The effect of paper cutting is brought by engraving and skeletonizing. Engraving is to carve away the contour lines. This effect is thick and has a strong sense of weight. People feel a strong sense of contrast between black and white. Skeletonizing is the opposite of engraving. The blank part is removed and the outline lines are kept. The lines of the pattern are solid. This method is very smooth and clear. The piece on the left is engraved, while the picture on the right is skeletonizing. You can see that the work on the right remains the blank part, not the lines, but the picture on the left, you can see that it remains only the lines instead of the white areas. The third method is to pierce the holes. The outline is cut out on paper with a knife or a scissor. Then the holes are pierced in the pattern with a needle, meaning to allow multiple layers of paper to join. You can feel a sense of refinement. As I said before, paper cutting is a national art, so there are many factions of paper cutting artists. Those artists from different regions and factions have their own different styles. Some paper cuttings are colorful, while others are very sophisticated. Some regional artists like to cut landscapes, and some people like animals. I will show you some paper cuttings now. Alright, it's time for us to meet new artists together. There are so many paper cutting artists in China, and they are all very talented. However, I'm only going to introduce you to one of my personal favorite artists in this video, and her name is Guo Xiuli. Guo Xiuli is an artist from Henan province, and she is a member of the Chinese Folk Artist Association. She has loved paper cutting since she was a child and has continuously worked on it. She never draws a sketch for her paper cutting. She just uses a piece of paper and a scissor to cut directly. She has won many international awards for her work. I like her work's vividness and loveliness. I love the mysterious paper she uses. Guo Xiuli's work inherits the characteristics of Chinese paper cuttings from the Han and Tang dynasties. They are all spontaneous and free. Her works generally reflect a sense of harmony between people and nature, so we can see many elements of animals and plants with people in her works. My favorites are the children she cuts because they are so cute. They have big eyes and round faces. As an international student, I also started to miss my hometown when I saw so many paper cutting artworks. It will be New Year soon, and it is time for people to make paper cuttings again. I look forward to seeing more paper cuttings during the Chinese New Year.